Okay, hang on, I'm gonna make sure. Oh. Okay. So a lot of things can be used as different waistbands. It depends on how stiff you want them. But they make waistband stiffeners that are specifically for waistbands. Or you can use fusible interfacing. Or you can use, you can use fusible interfacing, you can use sew-in interfacing, you can use muslin. It depends on how stiff you want your waistband and what the face fabric is. Okay, oh, scissors. Did I leave my
There's some right there.
I left them. Oh, thank you. Thank you guys are looking out for me. Okay, so I've sewn this now. You see that this is sewn to the wrong side of the waistband? Well, it's sewn to one side of the waistband. So now I can fold this. And now because you have this line of stitching, obviously this is going to be the side next to the body, right? Because you don't want that line of stitching showing out there. So now, Jackie, I'm going to cut off my extra threads and my extra stuff because you're right, it shouldn't be there. Okay. And then I'm going to press this one more time. I'm just going to press it so it looks good. I'm pressing it to embed the stitches. Remember, did you figure that over the break? Okay, we have to embed the stitches.
What does that mean exactly, though? Like embedding the stitches? Like
Embedding them so they just kind of merge with the fibers of the garment.
And if you didn't,
If you don't do that every time, you'll end up having a crappy looking garment that you wish you hadn't, that you've taken more time putting it flatly.
so the stitches just look kind of like
They sit on top.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, so now what you're going to do is you're going to finish the ends of the waistband. So you're going to turn this along the fold. You're going to put right sides together basically. And so, I better look and see what the pattern says. I think it says 1/2 inch seam allowances.
It is.
Is it? Thank you. Okay. So you're going to sew 1/2 inch seam allowances now. You just have to turn the ends under the edges here. Oh, and you have a choice with your waistband. You can either have your stripes going around the body or up and down the body. It doesn't matter.
How about the length, warp versus warp?
That's what I mean.
Do you want it to be not stretchy, or do you want it to be stretchy?
Well, it doesn't stretch enough. And when you put the ribbon in there, it stabilizes everything, so it's really not going to stretch at all. So for this, it's more of an aesthetic thing, if you want the stripes running around or up and down. So that's not, waistbands usually you want to have an inch to 1/2 inch to an inch of ease. In other words, if you have a fitted waistband, you want it to be 1/2 inch to an inch larger than the waistline that it's going around, just so you can breathe and eat and do all that stuff. Okay, so now I've got my 1/2 inch seam, except this is not behaving.
Now, wouldn't you, when I have something like that, I sew from
The top down.
the top down so I don't get anything bunched up on the end, just in case.
That's a good idea. Yeah, that's a fine idea. I've just never done it. There's nothing wrong with it, though.
I mess up all the time, so like.
make life easier for yourself.
Yeah.
And I do back,
The top down?
huh?
Yeah, you know, the fabric is folded like this, and she's sewing from
Okay,
here
this way.
this way, and you can get it, the fabric can bunch up on top, so I sew from that
Forward
point
down.
out.
You know why I don't do it? I just realized why I don't do that. Because I do backstitch for this seam, and sometimes if I start up
yeah.
there, I make a big wad, and I've wadded through more layers than I care to at the folded edge, because I want the folded edge to look nice. But I have a tendency to make wads, and so that's why I know, it's true, and I don't like wads. So, okay, so once you have one end, well, you can hardly see this thread. So once you have the one end done, you can trim it a little bit. And then, remember, you want to press this little seam open before you try to fold it. But I'm going to do that in a minute after I finish the other end. Okay, so now the other end is the same way. Now when you do this, there's one thing you've got to remember also. Yeah, I kind of did. All right. When you fold this, you want to make sure that you fold it so that ribbon is still slightly below the fold, right? Because if I folded this and sewed it, and I've seen students do this, let's say I folded it and made it kind of a wanky thing, and then I come back and try to get this in a nice fold when I turn it right side out, it won't happen. It just won't work. So in order for me to have this slightly to the inside, yeah, see what's happening? My other edges aren't quite meeting. Can you see that? I know. I'm going to have to correct that when I put it on the garment, because otherwise it will affect the overall width of my waistband. Oh, I wonder if I did the other side right. I didn't even know. Yeah, the other side's good. Okay. All right, these are just the little things that you need to check for.
See, it's good that we see you do this, though. So we
Yeah.
don't feel like because we're beginners, we're doing stupid things. It's just
No.
sewing does that too.
No, it's just, it depends on how many hours of the day you've been sewing.
Right.
And there are a lot of factors that go in here. And what your general irritation level is on that particular day besides.
Mercury's in retrograde.
Life has a way of irritating us. So, here we go. Okay, I'll backstitch this. Okay. See, backstitching a little bump. Okay, so now I'm going to trim this, and then I'm going to press this seam open. Oh, can somebody go hand me one of those little gizmos, a corner point presser? Well, if you're standing over there. Okay. So, now, oh, I got my little corner. Okay. Huh? Are you showing her what you've made?
Great.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So I'm embedding the stitches. And now I might not need my point turner. So now I'm going to press this little tiny seam open because really it's the easiest way to get it to fold nicely. Whoa. Let's do it. Okay, so this is going to be pressed open. Okay, this is going to be pressed open. I'm going to fold it over. Okay, so now it's going to be turned.
You don't have to cut those corners, right?
No, I don't cut those corners. I leave them as fill to have a nice firm top edge. Because that's going to get a lot of wear and tear.
Why did you open?
Huh?
Why'd you flatten out the,
Because it's easier, it's like scoring paper before you tear it. It's easier to get a clean fold. Okay, so now can you see that both ends are finished? Both ends of the band are finished? Now you can also see that I have my stitching on the inside. So that definitely tells me that this is going to have to go around, and this is going to be, wait, it goes the other way. Yeah, the other way. So this is going to be the underlap side, right? So now I can get, if I haven't marked it yet or if I made a mistake, I can just get the pattern out and double check, okay? and remark where there's center front and the. So, I'm gonna press this now. Now this is ready to sew onto the garment. I can't demonstrate how to sew it onto the garment yet because I need to put the zipper in. I'm gonna help people who need help with their zipper. So basically, I can kind of explain it to you quickly if you wanna know how you do it. You would match your notches up to the different garment sections. And you are going to be stitching, do they have you stitching from the wrong side or the right side? Probably the opposite of the way I like to do it. I always start on the right side. I start on the right side of the garment, and I stitch the seam to the right side of the garment, and then I turn it up, and then I turn this side under, and I turn it under so that there's a tiny lip that extends below the seam, and then I stitch in the ditch from the top side. I stitch right in here where the seam allowance is so that you can't see the stitching, and I'll show you how to do that, okay? I'm gonna show you how to do that in a minute, but first I'm gonna help people with their, you can go work on your waistbands, I'm gonna help zip, I'm gonna